This program is presented by our partner organization, the 9/11 Tribute Center. The moderated conversation you're about to hear is a new addition to the museum's regular auditorium programming, which also includes Facing Crisis, America Under Attack, a short film featuring original interviews with President George W. Bush, New York Governor George Pataki, and New York City Mayor Rudolph Giuliani. We invite you to join us for a screening of this film at 5 p.m. or during another visit. The exhibitions at the 9/11 Memorial Museum are filled with first-person stories and the voices of people who experienced 9/11 and its aftermath. The recognition that history is written out of the stories of real people is at the heart of the mission of the 9/11 Tribute Center and the basis for We Were There. Our partners at the 9/11 Tribute Center created a video to tell you a little bit about their organization and the programs they offer. Following the video, we will be joined by our moderator, Judith Pucci, and two speakers from the 9/11 Tribute Center. Please keep in mind that there will be an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the program. This program will run for 30 minutes. Please note where your exits are located, and we ask that you respectfully turn off all electronic devices. There's absolutely no photography or recording of any kind allowed during this program. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lee Aielli. I'm the president of the 9/11 Tribute Center. I'm also a board member of the 9/11 Memorial Museum. The 9/11 Tribute Center was started almost a decade ago by myself and Jennifer Adams. We brought together people who were deeply affected by 9/11 and built a community that is devoted to preserving and sharing their 9/11 experiences. We felt the need to give a voice to those people who had their voices stolen from them on 9/11. At the 9/11 Tribute Center, and here at the 9/11 Memorial, we share our stories with visitors every day. Our tour guides come from what we call the 9/11 community. They're all volunteers. They're either family members, rescue or recovery workers, survivors that came out of the towers, volunteers from all over our beautiful country, or people that lived and worked in the area and were witness to things that nobody should ever see. I'd like to invite you to take one of our tours on the 9/11 Memorial by one of our Tribute Center guides. In a few moments, you're going to hear two of our guides tell a little bit about their personal stories. By sharing our stories, we help others understand the impact of 9/11. The Tribute Center is a place of healing, support, and a testament to our strength. We hope our stories inspire you to remember 9/11, and that you strive to make tomorrow a better day.
Giving myself a moment. I always enjoy looking at and seeing everyone that has come. It's wonderful and lovely to have you all here with us. So let me welcome you to the 9/11 Tribute Center presentation of We Were There. My name is Judith Pucci, and I am the Tribute Center walking tour guide. As you just heard in the film, Lee told you that we at Tribute are people whose lives have been directly affected by the events of September 11th. And we are a very diverse group. We come from different backgrounds, different ages. In the normal course of life, many of us would never have met. Now it's quite different, because now we share a powerful bond. And Tribute, you could say, it's our home base. It's where we find support, and it's where we tell our stories about what September 11th was like from the inside. So this afternoon, you're going to be hearing two of these stories. They will be told to you by the people who lived the events they will be telling you about. And they also happen to be my fellow Tribute Center guides. So next to me is Anne Van Hine.
Yes, huh?
When Scott was growing up, all he ever wanted to be was a firefighter. And in 1993, he had an experience that more of us in life should have. It was his dream coming true. In 1993, Scott became a New York City firefighter. He remained one until 2005 when he retired from the department. Anne is an educator and the former owner of a ballet school. This is not in my notes, but I can also tell you. Now Anne is sweating. Anne is a former dancer herself, and she actually, are you going to hate me for saying this? Yes. She came this close to being a Radio City rockhead. Anne taught dance for many years while raising her two daughters, and Anne's husband, Bruce Van Hine, was a New York City firefighter. We're going to begin with Scott, so let me just take a moment and set the scene for you. For firefighters on September 11th, the first attack took place just as the night shift was ending and the day shift began. So because of this overlap, nearly every firefighter that day wound up coming down here to the trade center, whether they were on duty or off. Scott, even though he had just finished his tour and he was now officially off duty, he was one of the firefighters that came down here. And Scott, I'm going to let you take it from here.
After the firefighters got recalled, I made my way into Manhattan. I parked my truck a few blocks north of the World Trade Center site. At that time, the South Tower had collapsed, and the North Tower was still standing. I could mention my truck was parked about 5 blocks north of the site. I was wearing, it was a summer day, I was wearing shorts, sneakers, and a t-shirt. So I ran my way down to the site, down the sidewalk to help. And as I was running down, the North Tower was still standing, there was smoke coming out of the top of the towers. You'd see things falling off the towers. As you got closer, those were things falling. It was people jumping. They had no other choice but to jump in their life, either be killed by fire or the other option. The other option was obviously jumping. The closer you got to the site, you had to watch out for him. The first firefighter was killed by a jumper, Daniel Sir. I saw a Rescue 1's fire truck parked on the North Walkway, and that's where I was heading to grab some gear to help. As I made the corner of West and Vesey Street, which is the corner just opposite the North Tower, I was looking up at the building shifted a little bit, and then you just heard bop, 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 as the floor's coming down. I didn't think, I just acted. I ran to the corner, and I just slid under a car. And with that, you hear the ground rumbling and shaking, and the building's collapsed in 11 seconds. So wherever you are, you have 11 seconds to react. I remember laying on my back, looking up at the sky, and time just froze. I was at peace with myself, whatever was going to happen. And then the ground just started shaking and rumbling. You hear glass smashing, heavy steel crashing against heavy steel. And we were just laying there. The car alarms were going off, and there was like a big rock fighter was coming by. Rocks were flying by, pieces of debris. And then a big gush of air, and then everything just went black. It was like dust cloud. You guys, everyone saw on TV, that was on TV. But the dust cloud was not really a dust cloud. It was everything in the building compressed, burning, pulverized. The consistency of that was taking a bag of flour and sand, mixing it, and dumping it over your head. All our senses were involved when we got caught in that collapse. And not only did we see it, we felt it, we inhaled it, we smelled it, we tasted it, and obviously we heard it. I was laying there, and as the dust cloud was enveloped, I started choking. You cannot breathe through that stuff. I was just choking, and then all of a sudden, it just went calm, nice and quiet. But we still had the pass alarms going off. In the fire department and fire service, we have what's called pass alarms, the personal safety devices. And if you stop moving for 30 seconds, they start chirping. That's all you heard. I remember laying there. You see, I was looking up at the sky, seeing patches of blue throughout the dust. And laying there, and also just the chirping noise going off. Now I was like, I'm feeling myself. I'm all right. I'm alive. As I went to get out, I was trapped. The weight of the car had compressed onto me, and I wasn't crushed. I wasn't, pinned that bad. I am taking the bumper, just pushing the bumper up and down, sliding my way out. The problem was I couldn't see anything. The World Trade Center had 43,000 windows in it, and all those windows were pulverized. So when that dust cloud was pulverized glass. So all your eyes were just covered in glass. You couldn't see anything. You were bleeding from pulverized. And obviously, the first thing to do is rub it, and that's the worst thing you can do. But that's the only option. It took me about 25 minutes, 30 minutes to get myself out from under the car. I've never been to the World Trade Center before. I was in that part of Lower Manhattan once in my entire life. On a normal, beautiful day, I would be lost. Now I'm stuck in Lower Manhattan, about 6 inches of that crud through the streets. I can't see anything. There's cars on fire. There's buildings on fire. All the buildings' windows were blown out completely around the site. And then I just witnessed, I guess, we really didn't know what happened. Everyone watched it unfold on TV. People down here, we had no idea what was going on. All we could see was right in front of us. We didn't know about the Pentagon. We didn't know about Shanksville. We knew nothing about that. I stumbled around the site for about 45 minutes. And I flushed my eyes out with water and finally able to get my bearings. And then I wanted to go to work to help out. I ended up stumbling around in the middle of Broadway. I saw a Squad 41 fire truck running. Now, not thinking that these guys are missing or anything, just that why these guys are here. My firehouse was 12 miles away from the World Trade Center site, 3 blocks away from Yankee Stadium. But of course, we were a special operations unit. They were called down. Not thinking that they're missing, the fire truck is still running, the shoes are still inside. We started taking tools off the fire truck to help. We just worked for a few hours, and then we got involved in our first victim that we saw. We made our way onto West Street, and we actually found the chief of the New York City Fire Department, Pete Gansey. The chief of the fire department, he was decapitated. It took us about 45 minutes to unravel his body. He was wrapped in a chain link fence. We took his body out, we put it in a Stokes basket, draped the flag over it, said a prayer, and then removed Pete Gansey. Then we saw his hand sticking up out of the rubble. And we started digging through the rubble again. It took about 45 minutes. It was First Commissioner Billy Feehan. Pete Gansey and Billy Feehan, they were best friends, and they passed away together. It wasn't until later on that evening that we realized that the members of Squad 41 were missing. Like Judith had mentioned, it was a change of shifts. There wasn't really accountability. No one really knew who was working, who wasn't working, who was relieved, who wasn't relieved. So there was really no one really knew who or where anyone was. It wasn't until that night where we were missing the 6 guys from Squad 41. It was that point where we made a promise to the wives of those 6 guys that we're going to find these guys. And we're going to bring them home to them. The problem was we didn't know where they were. It was a 16-acre site. It wasn't until they released the tapes that we realized that the members of Squad 41 were in South Tower. Sorry. It wasn't until March of 2002 when we found 3 of our 6. And we kept the promise to those ones. Well, 3 of them, but this one.
September 11th took an historic toll on the city's fire department. 343 New York City firefighters were killed that day. Never before in New York City history have we lost so many firefighters in a single day. In fact, we didn't even lose them in a day. We lost them in the morning. They were not alone. 23 New York City police officers dead. 37 Port Authority police dead. September 11th stands as the worst loss of first responders in a single event in United States history. For Scott, sharing his story is a way of honoring his fellow firefighters, men such as Bruce Van Hine, Anne's husband.
I am one of those wives that Scott and the men from Squad 41 promised that they would bring our husbands home. The last time I saw my husband was Sunday, September 9th. He was going on duty from Sunday night till Monday night. He was working a 24, all firefighters try to do that. And then he was working again on Tuesday, doing a makeup tour. But Sunday, before he left, he said to me, "I am so blessed." And I said, "What?" Just as wives do that kind of stuff. And he said, "Because I'm married to Miss Ann," which is what the children I work with call me. "Because we have two wonderful daughters." At the time, our daughters were 14 and 17. "And because we just got the trailer. We are a big camping family, and we had moved from tent camping to a pop-up to a real trailer, which was very exciting after being on the ground." Bruce did call me on Monday night, and I can't tell you what that conversation was, but that conversation on Sunday I hold dear to my heart. The fire department would come to my home around midnight on the night of the 11th to tell me that Bruce was unaccounted for. And my daughters and I embarked on a journey that we never expected to be on. We have had a personal loss in the midst of a national tragedy. About a week after September 11th, I would have information that there was a meeting for all firefighter families in the city. But they weren't exactly telling you where the meeting was. They were giving you meeting places to go to, because then they were going to transport you from that location to where the meeting was. I think the idea behind that was to not have the media involved, the press. So a friend, her husband, drove my daughter and my sister and I to the fire zone, which is in Rockefeller Center. And when we got there, they were asking if you wanted something to eat. I mean, they were so very kind. And then a big bus pulled up, a tour-type bus. And security got off that bus. As my daughter said, it felt like you were in some bad movie, because people were talking into their sleeves and everything, and ushering you onto this bus that then only drove like 2 blocks to a hotel, one of the big hotels in New York. And when we got to the hotel, you went into the ballroom. And the then Governor Pataki was there. Rudy Giuliani, the then mayor of New York, was there, and the head of the acting head of the fire department was there. And that meeting was really to tell you that it was going from rescue to recovery. And after they said that, and there were questions and everything, the coroner's office was also represented, they asked you to leave DNA before you left. And I had my 17-year-old daughter with me, and I thought, my 17-year-old daughter is not leaving DNA in a hotel ballroom. So my sister, who at the time was an assistant district attorney, muscled her way to the front of the line and just said, "We need to know a private lab or something that my niece can go to give DNA." And they told us that. To be honest with you, some of the firefighter widows I know, we refer to that meeting as the leave your DNA at the door meeting, which is a little dark humor there, that sometimes you have to do that to keep your wits about you. After that meeting, I would have a discussion with my daughters about where they thought Daddy was. And when I asked them, where do you think Daddy is, they said, "He's in heaven." I said, "Well, if Daddy's in heaven, we need to have a memorial service." So we planned a memorial service on September 29th. We had a memorial service that celebrated my husband's life and brought glory to our God. Both of those things were important to us. And after that, on October 1st, we established what we called our new normal. And then in March of 2002, in the middle of the night, my phone would ring to say that they had found Bruce's body. And they wanted to know if I wanted to come here to see his body be carried out. And I said no, because there are some images I cannot have in my head. I had always told my daughters that we did not have to be brave. Daddy was one of New York's bravest. We're not. When I do tours for tribute, I always tell people that there are three things that have gotten me through the last 13 and a half years. And it seems impossible to say 13 and a half years, because in one way it was yesterday, and in another way it was 100 years ago. But the three things that have gotten me through the last 13 years are, first, my faith. My faith in God has gotten me through. The second is the fact that my husband was a firefighter. He was doing his job that day, a job that he loved, a job that took him a long time to get, but he was doing his job. And that's a whole different thing than your 23-year-old son or daughter sitting at a desk and terrorists fly a plane into a building. It's a whole different thing. The other part of Bruce being a firefighter was Squad 41 took care of us. I stayed home and took care of my daughters. And then, like Scott, searched for my husband. And the third thing I say that's got me through the last 13 years is family and friends. We don't do life alone. We do life with our family and friends. And since I've been doing tours now for 8 years with tribute, I have a whole new group of friends who never met my husband, but they share that story with me. And I think of the story of September 11th as a mosaic. You know, a mosaic is a piece of art that's little pieces of glass that lay next to each other. They don't interlock like a puzzle, but those little pieces of glass lay next to each other to show the whole picture of what happened. And to me, those little pieces of glass are the stories, the hundreds and thousands of stories, hundreds of thousands of stories that tell what happened on September 11th and 6th. Thank you for listening.
Before he died, Bruce and his husband, he helped to rescue over 10,000 people. That is quite a legacy. For Anne and for Scott, it is acts of courage and kindness. It is not the death and brutality that have had an enduring impact. Complete strangers from around the country and around the world flooded Anne with messages of comfort and gratitude. This outpouring of what I refer to as sheer human kindness inspired Scott to volunteer for the fire department's Disaster Assist Response Team. As a result, Scott assisted with such disasters as Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, and last year's tornado in Oklahoma. That too is an honorable legacy. I want to thank you both for doing this. Powerful stories, exceptional people, and it's really been an honor to be up here with you. What I'd like to do now is open this up to all of you. So if any of you have a question for either Anne or Scott, this is the moment. Everyone's so shy. I'll give you a moment. Do I see a little hand there? Oh, I do see one over there. Mhm.
What did you do when you found like Anne's husband and the other men from your firehouse? Like, how did you mark what happened? How did you mark it in any way?
Actually,
The question was that when Scott and the rest of the firefighters, when they found a body in the wreckage, what did they physically do to in any way mark the position of where that person's remains were found?
Well, when we found Bruce, Bruce and we found some tools of Squad 41 in the general area. One of the Louis Torres, a member of Squad 41, took a can of spray paint and spray painted a vertical column, SQ41 on that column. And just to tell our guys that this is where we found, Bruce, and actually we found the rest of our guys in that general area as well. And as recovery operations went on, more of the beam became exposed, and other companies from the fire department and the police department started spray painting that beam as well. And that became the ceremonial S beam actually pulled from the site, which is in the museum today.
Yeah, when you're down in the museum and there's a large beam, it's referred to as the last beam, it turned out to be the last beam that was removed from the Trade Center site before it was just a naked cake of dirt again. Anyone else?
Over there.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Again, I just want to reiterate her point. Thank you for sharing your stories today. I have a question for Hine. I understand why they would want your husband's DNA in the search. Why did they ask for your family's DNA?
So that they could identify my husband. If they had my DNA and my daughter's, then the part that was missing from my daughter's would be my husband's. So 41 actually gave the medical examiner's office, there was I think a t-shirt and a hairbrush, whatever was in his locker, they gave to them. And then I also gave other items for DNA. The DNA they wanted mostly was my mother-in-law's, but my mother-in-law was 80-something, and I was like, no, we're not doing that. So, but yeah. So we just went to a private lab, and all they do is, it's not a big deal, really, but what you're doing is a big deal. The actual process isn't a big deal.
Yeah, it's the intimacy of it.
Right, yeah, it's just like, who would ever think you had to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Last chance. All right. Why do we tell our stories? That's a question we're asked quite a lot on tours. Why do you do this? People say it cannot be easy. You ask anyone a tribute, you will get their answer. We all have our own personal reasons for doing what we're doing. But common to us all is a hope that by telling our stories, we can show that September 11th, as grotesque a day as it was still a day that was about more than loss, that it was also about resilience, our resilience, the resilience of the human spirit, and its enduring capacity to move forward. We tell our stories here now because we hope that hearing them here will enrich your museum experience. It's as simple as that. One last thing, though, I would like to say before we wrap up, and it has to do with you. I often think, as I sit here, that it must be so easy for all of you to imagine yourselves as being passive players in this. You sit there and you listen and you appreciate what you're hearing. But you really are much more than that. And I am not giving you polite happy talk when I say that. You are actually essential to our storytelling. Because with you, we all become in this together. And when we become in this together, we take a portion of that tragic day and we turn it into a life-affirming experience, which is exactly what this is for us and what the tours are for us as well. So on behalf of Scott, Anne, and myself, and on behalf of Tribute, truly, from the heart, thank you for spending your time with us.